Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about a topic that infuriates and terrifies countless Americans. Why does the entire nation instantly wake up when a young, beautiful white girl or blonde girl suddenly disappears? The media provides 24/7 coverage, citizens spontaneously organize search teams, celebrities speak out, and GoFundMe funds surpass $1 million in hours. Yet, at the same time, other missing persons cases often disappear without a trace. This phenomenon has a specific name: missing white woman syndrome. Today we'll delve into why the disappearance of beautiful young white women and children always seems to suddenly wake up the world. What twisted criminal psychology lies behind it? More importantly, what self-protection and life lessons can you learn from this? Grab a cup of coffee, and let's dive into this stimulating and thought-provoking long video. If you enjoy criminal psychology and self-improvement, remember to like and comment. Let's begin. Imagine an ordinary autumn night in 2025, in a university town in California. 22-year-old Emily Harper, a typical young white American beauty, long blonde hair, blue eyes, and a well-proportioned figure, was working at a coffee shop off campus. After get-off work, she walked home at night as usual, but never returned to her dorm. The next morning, her roommate found her phone was switched off. The last message on her social media was at 10:17 p.m. the previous night. The news spread like wildfire. It made local news headlines that night, and national media outlets followed up the story early the next morning. Volunteers rushed in from all directions, search teams unfurled banners, and hashtag #FindEmily quickly became a trending topic. In less than 48 hours, the fundraising page had raised over $1.2 million. Celebrities, influencers, and even politicians publicly declared, "We must find her." Meanwhile, in the same state, another 28-year-old Latina single mother named Maria also went missing that night. Her case only appeared once in the local tabloids, and the search effort was far less intense than Emily's. Statistics show that, in similar situations, media coverage of missing young white women is often 3 to 5 times higher than that of other ethnic groups. This sudden awakening phenomenon is not an isolated case, but a long-standing social psychological pattern. Why is this? Today we'll peel back the layers of this seemingly caring, but actually complex psychological black hole. The term missing white woman syndrome was first coined by media commentators to describe the disproportionate media attention given to the disappearance of young, attractive white women. According to long-term tracking by multiple research institutions, among the tens of thousands of missing persons cases in the United States each year, the reporting coverage of these victims is significantly higher than average. Let's look at another example. 8-year-old Lily, also blonde and from a white family, suddenly disappeared while playing in a park. After the incident, national television interrupted its regular programming to broadcast missing person notices. The FBI quickly intervened, the public spontaneously posted posters, and the search operation lasted for weeks. Meanwhile, another missing non-white child in the same city only received routine announcements from the local police department. These contrasts are not coincidences, but the result of the combined effects of multiple psychological mechanisms. Next, let's examine why victim profiling is so crucial. The combination of young, beautiful white woman or child creates the perfect victim profile most likely to trigger widespread societal attention. Why? Because their appearance and background perfectly align with the public's stereotypical image of pure, innocent, and deserving of protection. Emily's photos were repeatedly used by the media. Smiling graduation photos, pictures with friends, each radiating youth and vitality. Lily's image is that of a typical American princess. Blonde curls, a princess dress. These visual elements quickly activate the protective instinct in the brain. Psychological research shows that humans tend to invest more emotional resources in cute or beautiful objects. This is an evolutionary mechanism that helped ancestors prioritize the protection of individuals with high reproductive value within the tribe. However, this mechanism is severely amplified in modern society. When a victim fits the young plus beautiful plus white combination, the media knows that viewers will click, share, and become angry, directly translating into viewership and traffic. Conversely, if the victim is of average appearance, older, or belongs to a minority group, the story's emotional appeal is significantly reduced, naturally leading to a decline in attention. This isn't simply racial discrimination. A deeper cognitive bias is at play. Let's delve into the first psychological aspect. Selective empathy is one of the core mechanisms. Social psychology theory suggests that people are more likely to empathize with those similar to themselves. This similarity can be in appearance, race, social class, or lifestyle. For most middle-class white American viewers, Emily is simply the girl next door. She attends an ordinary college, enjoys Starbucks, uses TikTok, and is no different from you or me. This similarity quickly leads the brain to interpret her disappearance as something that could happen to me or my family, triggering intense fear and anger. However, when the victim's background is significantly different, the threshold for empathy increases. The brain unconsciously calculates psychological distance. This person isn't like me, and attention naturally decreases. Research by renowned psychologist Daniel Kahneman shows that this rapid, intuitive judgment often precedes rational thought, leading to a severe imbalance in media and public attention. On a criminal psychology level, this also explains why some perpetrators subconsciously or consciously choose such victims. They know that harming a high-visibility target can create greater social upheaval, thereby indirectly satisfying their lust for power. The second key mechanism is the halo effect. Psychological experiments have repeatedly demonstrated that attractive people are automatically associated with more positive qualities. More kind, more intelligent, more innocent. When photos of beautiful young white women or children appear, the viewer's brain automatically labels them as victims of purity. This halo makes their disappearances seem particularly tragic, and the perpetrator's actions seem particularly heinous. In contrast, victims of average appearance are more easily labeled as potentially risky, weakening public empathy. In everyday American scenarios, imagine this. If a beautiful white girl goes missing in a mall parking lot, people immediately think of unfamiliar danger. But if it's someone of average appearance, some might first think, could it be my own carelessness? This bias directly affects the coverage and the allocation of search resources. Criminal psychology begins to emerge here. Some perpetrators are attracted by this halo. They may have a pathological idealization-destruction psychological pattern, first fantasizing about the victim as a perfect object, then shattering this fantasy through control and harm, gaining a distorted sense of satisfaction. Now let's move to the core and most thrilling part of this video. A deep dive into the black hole of criminal psychology. Why do some people target young, beautiful white women or children? What are they really thinking? We'll dissect this layer by layer using real-world criminal psychology models. First, the desire for power and control is one of the biggest motivations. Many serial or opportunistic criminals experienced intense feelings of powerlessness in childhood, perhaps stemming from domestic violence, neglect, or social exclusion. As adults, they compensate for this powerlessness by choosing high-value victims. Imagine this. When an ordinary person harms a beautiful girl the whole nation is searching for, and society is shaken by his actions, this feeling of indirectly controlling national attention is an extremely strong dopamine reward for antisocial personalities. They often suffer from cognitive biases, viewing the victim as a symbol rather than a real person. Emily wasn't a college student with dreams in their eyes, but a representative of the pure American dream. Through kidnapping or more serious harm, they psychologically complete the desecration and conquest of this perfect social image. This process allows them to briefly escape their inferiority complex and gain a godlike sense of control. When making decisions, they weigh the risks. This goal is high because of the high attention, but the rewards are also high. The media frenzy prolongs their psychological climax, even allowing them to relive it through the news while in prison. Secondly, there's jealousy and destructive personality. Some perpetrators harbor a morbid jealousy of those who are beautiful and lucky. They may have long felt abandoned by society, and seeing a young, beautiful white girl possess everything they crave but cannot obtain, attention, opportunities, love, will trigger a strong destructive impulse. The psychological theory of relative deprivation can explain this. It's not absolute poverty, but the resentment stemming from what others have I don't have. During the crime, their decisions are often not random, but carefully chosen for their most dazzling targets. Just as some arsonists enjoy burning down the most beautiful houses, they revel in the moment of destroying beauty. Afterwards, when the media portrays the victim as a national idol, the perpetrator's psychological satisfaction is further amplified. Look, I destroyed someone the whole country felt sorry for. Third, there's the driving force of a mixed fantasy of sex and violence. Many sex offenders or violent criminals harbor complex fantasy scripts. They idealize beautiful young white women as pure goddesses, but simultaneously want to defile this purity through violence. This contradiction stems from childhood attachment disorders or early trauma, preventing them from establishing normal connections in intimate relationships and leading them to seek intimacy only through extreme control. The decision-making process is both highly rational and pathological. They observe the victim's daily routes, choose blind spots in surveillance, and assess the possibility of escape. But once successful, media attention becomes their trophy. Some people even proactively leak clues to the media or police, just to prolong the feeling of being watched by the entire society. A distorted need for attention. We can further speculate using the dark triad: narcissism, Machiavellianism, psychopathology. These individuals lack empathy but desperately crave dominance. They choose high-visibility victims precisely because they know this maximizes their psychological influence. Cognitive behavioral models show that they repeatedly rehearse fantasies before acting and then relive the thrill of the crime through news reports afterward, creating a vicious cycle. Of course, not all criminals targeting these types of victims are the same. Some are opportunists who just happen to encounter targets that fit their preferences. But regardless, the common thread is that they exploit society's excessive attention to this type of profile to amplify their own presence. Friends, after hearing these speculations, do you feel a chill down your spine? Criminal psychology is never simply bad people doing bad things, but rather the result of layers of distorted cognition, unhealed trauma, and a pathological reward mechanism working together. Understanding this isn't about sympathizing with the perpetrators, but about better recognizing warning signs and protecting ourselves and our families. Why has the world suddenly woken up? The answer lies in the attention economy. In 2026 America, media and platform algorithms have already made emotional value their core currency. The disappearance of a beautiful young white woman or child perfectly provides an emotional cocktail of fear plus anger plus hope. Viewers are afraid, angry about injustice, and want to see a happy ending. Algorithms prioritize pushing this type of highly interactive content, causing the coverage to snowball. Other cases lacking emotional tension are quickly buried. This isn't a conspiracy, but naked commercial logic. This phenomenon exposes the most authentic side of human nature. We are all biased beings. Acknowledging this isn't self-blame, but the first step towards awakening. Only by recognizing our selective empathy can we become more just and vigilant. Now, let's move on to the most valuable part, transforming the knowledge of criminal psychology and psychology we just learned into a survival advantage for us. Here are 7 practical self-improvement tips, each of which can be implemented immediately in daily life in the U.S. 1. Cultivate independent attention and judgment. Don't be swayed by media frenzy. When seeing trending topics, ask yourself 3 questions. Is the coverage of this case normal? What about other similar cases? Am I being manipulated emotionally? Long-term practice will greatly improve your rational thinking ability. 2. Establish a personal safety protocol. Whether you are a young, attractive white woman or anyone else, develop the habit of sharing your itinerary plus emergency contact plus location services enabled. When walking in college towns or parks, tell a friend your expected return time in advance and use a safety app. 3. Read warning signs, not just appearances. Criminal psychology tells us that perpetrators often choose targets based on behavioral patterns. Learn to observe signs such as unusual eye contact, excessive approach, and sudden changes in route, instead of relying solely on "this person looks dangerous." 4. Overcome cognitive biases. Spend 5 minutes each day practicing empathy. When seeing any missing persons news, actively imagine how you would react if you were a victim from a different background. This will make you a kinder and smarter person. 5. Enhance daily crisis awareness. Treat the world suddenly wakes up as a wake-up call. Before leaving home, ask yourself, what's the worst-case scenario? Am I prepared? Develop this habit when driving, dating, or jogging at night in the U.S. It can significantly reduce risk. 6. Learn basic self-defense and mental resilience. Enroll in community self-defense classes or practice scenario simulations at home. Psychologically, cultivate a worst-case scenario plus best-case scenario mindset to help you remain calm in a crisis. 7. Transform into influence. If you care about social justice, you can call for balanced attention to all victims in the comments section or on social media platforms, using rational voices to combat algorithmic bias. This is both self-improvement and a contribution to society. These practical tips are not empty talk. They are survival weapons extracted directly from the black hole of criminal psychology. Save screenshots and review 1 point daily. After a month, you will find your vigilance and judgment significantly improved. When beautiful young white women and children disappear, the world suddenly wakes up, revealing complex psychological mechanisms and the black hole of criminal psychology. But we don't have to live in fear. Understanding these is to better protect ourselves, our families, and society. Remember, true strength isn't about praying you're always the one being watched, but about learning to remain clear-headed, vigilant, and empathetic in any situation. If you gain new insights from this video, feel free to tell me in the comments, what are my survival tips? Also, feel free to share it with your friends so we can all improve together. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We'll continue exploring criminal psychology and personal growth in the next video. Thank you for watching. Stay alert, stay strong.